3, 2, 1.
Hey, this is Godwin Kelly. That's Ken Willis.
That's
in case you, don't know.
We're up to speed now?
We're up to speed.
Okay, off and running, off to a flying start.
We are. This is the Motormouths video podcast in all of its greatness.
All of its greatness.
Yes. Willis actually wore something decent.
You had to bring that up.
I've got something that Jed Clampett may have left on this curb.
That was my. I had the Clampett menswear when our last video podcast. I apologize. I think last week on the audio podcast.
Yeah. About
my unfortunate taste in overshirts that look like an undershirt when we did our last video podcast, and I suggested that. I apologize that say I would never wear another shirt on a video podcast that I purchased at Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
So anyway, no more Jed Clampett wear, and you're smart enough to wear a hat without the powder makeup. I didn't wear a hat, so I want to apologize for that.
Check out my eyeliner.
It's not bad. It looks better than when you had it done last time. But I am thinking though I will get me a Joe Pepitone hairpiece to wear maybe the next time we do a video podcast to take away some of the unfortunate glare. Assuming we don't sell advertising space up here on this expanding forehead.
What kind of rug did he have?
Dark. I don't know who made it. I mean, Louisville Slugger.
No, but I mean, was it like?
It looked about like a pitching wedge divot right there on top of his head. And that was about. He played for the Yankees in the '60s, and he started wearing a hairpiece, and it just drove everybody crazy. He's a ball player wearing a hairpiece.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think many ball players wear hairpieces, but they do primp and preen. So it's it falls into the same category.
Well,
primping, preening, hair pieces,
that's one thing
hair color.
That's one thing about race car drivers.
Oh, they would never do that, would they?
They would never wear a hairpiece.
Yeah. What's his name? I'll never forget the year Jimmy Hensley showed up. His hair was blacker than night. I mean, he was pretty much gray, and all of a sudden he shows up. He's in search of a new sponsor, and he was getting to be 45, 46, 47. He showed up. I think he did it himself. You can usually tell when somebody tried to do their own hair.
Home barbering.
Yeah, and then there was a year that Hut Strickland was also looking for sponsorship. He showed up looking like Elvis. His hair was so black, and he had the sideburns and everything. Shaved about 3 years off of his birth certificate, but I don't think you may have noticed it didn't land him a premium ride for the 500 or anywhere else.
Yeah.
So
well,
I could get a hairpiece. I'd look like, who would I look like?
You'd look like Fred Flintstone.
Thank you very much. All right, what's going on? Hey, it's here. Speed Weeks is here.
This is it.
It is here. The abbreviate. What do you call it now? See, it used to be you had the Rolex 4-day weekend, Thursday through Sunday, a couple of days off, then the ARCA cars would come in, start practicing, and it would just bleed right into the normal NASCAR or stock car portion of Speed Weeks.
Exactly.
And but now we have the Rolex weekend, 10, 11 down days, and now we're getting back into it. So do we still call it Speed Weeks with a break?
Yeah, well, it's still weeks.
Yeah, but this one now, it's about 9 days now, the stock car part.
Yeah,
10 days, I guess 10 days.
Well, then you add in the first week of the sporty cars.
All right, so it's Speed Weeks with an intermission.
It's an intermission. And
I don't know. I think we got to come up with a better name. But this one is totally different because and this is saying something. I've never been less prepared. Think about that statement.
Wow.
I've never been less prepared for Speed Weeks. And basically it's because there's no testing this year. And normally by this time of year, you're pretty much familiar with who's where, who's in what car, what owner has this, where the crew chiefs have moved, everything. But we didn't have those 2 weeks of testing this year. Therefore, I'm lost.
Well, we lost that face-to-face with these guys. And you get, when they're here testing, you get 3 days. And you're
it's back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
You get half the teams for 3 days, and the next week the other half of the teams.
And so you're right. You get to see, you get to see what kind of car they're in. But you know what? They're all
in the same car.
You know what's funny though?
Yeah.
Is that things are happening so fast at this point. Like people are jumping in right now.
Right.
Okay. Right here. Looky here.
Looky here.
Remember
hey,
that?
I got one of those. I got one of those.
Jeff Bodine. Remember Jeff Bodine?
Hold on a minute. All right, I'm ready. Jeff Bodine.
Jeff Bodine. Just in the last few days, is it Gunselman? Gunselman.
Yeah.
Gunselman Motorsports. And so Jeff and Todd Bodine
Little brother.
going in with this guy
Gunselman.
and he's going to be in the Daytona 500.
And it says here he's 59.
Yes, 59
I had
years
him older.
young.
I had him older than that. See, now you say Jeff Bodine, Daytona.
Right.
You think of two things. One good, one not so good. You think of Jeff Bodine won the Daytona 500.
Yeah.
1 year.
Right.
Back in the 80s.
86.
Long time ago.
86.
That was one of those famous years where Earnhardt lost it. Earnhardt had a chance to win it, lost it.
Always. It was always Earnhardt
Right.
losing and somebody else winning.
But the other, when we think of Jeff Bodine and Daytona, we also think of that very first truck race back several years ago.
Well, that was 2000.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. And that was when he just went on a horrible barrel roll down the front stretch. And, I mean, it had everything. Pieces flying off, barrel roll, pieces of a fence coming down, a little bit of fire. I think the engine went tumbling out.
Yep.
And he didn't walk away, but he survived it and was busted up a little bit, but came out of it all right. I mean, that's one of them wrecks you think for sure you're watching that, you're going, boy, I just saw somebody get killed.
Oh, yeah.
And that was before all the advances in safety that they've made over the last several years. So anyway, I am willing to bet that one of the storylines down in that section of the garage where
Right.
the have-nots are, that second garage.
Right, the scrubs.
Yeah, over on the other side of the tracks. That will one of the storylines down there for people looking for stories will be, oh hey, Jeff Bodine, let's talk about your truck wreck.
Oh, yeah.
So-
yeah, because it's about 10 years.
Oh,
I think it is 10 years.
Well, it's if it's happened in 2000, we could go ahead and get the story in the bank now and save it for next year, the 10th anniversary.
10th anniversary.
Work ahead, I say.
Okay.
Work ahead. If
All
you
right.
do a little more now, it's less you got to do later. So
Sterling Marlin says he doesn't have a ride.
that's
One of the great drafting drivers ever.
I remember doing a column on him last February and saying that this is it. This could be it. I didn't really, in my heart, believe that it was it, but it was it.
Mm-hmm.
As for now, I mean, that could change too. What time is it? That might have changed since we came back here and sat down. But he'd imagine all these people putting a car or trying to put a car in the Daytona 500 this year, because you got a better chance of getting in it this year than any time in recent memory if you're just an outsider.
Right.
And Sterling Marlin not being put in one of them. That's hard to believe, because
Yeah.
there's a guy that could he could draft in his sleep.
He could be competitive. If you had the right car, he could be competitive in any Daytona 500. So.
See, we missed our chance. Remember, we were kicking around the idea of going to buy ourselves a car
I know.
tomorrow, or we were probably steal a car tomorrow. Somebody loan us some money, buy one, put Sterling Marlin in it. We're rich and famous. We go to Victory Lane. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Only thing holding us back is finances, know-how, and of course a little luck.
Yeah.
Good too. So.
Well, also probably chutzpah. Is that
Chutzpah? Chutzpah? Yeah. I've seen that spelled chutzpah
Yeah.
before. I got really confused. So yeah, but other than that, we got everything, know-how, finances, and chutzpah. Other than that, we got it licked. What else is on your little agenda?
Well, they've got the stricter NASCAR rules now for substance abuse. So every driver has to take a
Tinkle in a cup?
Yeah, it has to tinkle in a cup. But they told them like weeks ahead of time, well, you got to show up like Tuesday at 3. So some of the guys like Ryan Newman,
Yeah.
they were saying, well, if you're going to tell us like 3 and 4 weeks ahead of time,
Right.
what's that going to do?
Yeah.
So
And was it a BYOB? Or do you got to do it there? Or BYOC? Bring
Yeah.
your own cup?
yeah, I think so.
Or you got to do it there in front of...
I believe though if you go by the letter of the rule,
Right. You got to do it like the NFL does, right in front of somebody?
right in front of somebody,
What if you got that anxiety thing that some guys have about public restrooms?
then you're not going to be
You're not going to be a NASCAR
you're not going to
driver?
be a race driver.
So
no.
you probably right there in front of the inspectors? Wouldn't that be great? Your first day on the job, hey, great, I just got a job with NASCAR. I'm on the inspection team. What are you doing? Well, my first day, I'm watching Kevin Harvick pee in a cup. Can't wait till day 2.
So anyway, this is Godwin Kelly. That is Ken Willis.
Had a Webb Pierce story too I was going to throw in, but we'll save that for 2 weeks from today.
And that is Ken Willis. And we will see you in the next pod next week.